Hello and welcome to the Intentional Brief, your weekly video update on the one big thing in cybersecurity news for growth stage companies, their investors and management teams. I'm your host, Shay Colson, managing partner at Intentional Cybersecurity, and you can find us online at intentionalcyber.com. Today is Tuesday, July 21st, 2026, and the Strait of Hormuz is closed once again. On the cyber side, we've got a bit of an I told you so episode ahead. Last week we talked about Microsoft foreshadowing both that they'd be pushing out bigger patches in their famous Patch Tuesday cycle and the need for more frequent patching. Now we know why they were telegraphing that message. July's Patch Tuesday is out and it fixes a record 570 vulnerabilities, including 2 0 days and 59 critical vulnerabilities, 48 of which are remote code execution, 9 are elevation of privilege, 1 is a security bypass, and 1 is spoofing. But they weren't the only ones doing a patch dump last week either, as we saw updates from Adobe, BeyondTrust, Cisco, Fortinet, Avanti, NVIDIA, Process Software, Ubiquiti, SAP, VMware, and others. At the same time, we saw new research from Orca Security claiming that 99.9% of AI vulnerability alerts with an available fix remain unpatched. Some other stats from that report that jumped out to me are that Orca finds the majority of organizations, 51.5%, that they surveyed, are using AI to build custom software, and they also found that 81.2% of companies, this is a very specific number, running AI packages have at least one known vulnerability. Of those, 74% have at least one critical CVE. So again, patching is not glamorous. I get that. And it's not easy in a legacy, a mixed, a hybrid, a remote environment. But it is tremendously important. And at least according to the Orca numbers, we are still struggling to do it well. Speaking of struggling, more information has been reported on the DHS breach from last week that notes two things. One, they put in the article, quote, between May 15th and May 24th, the infiltration was detected by analysts inside FEMA, where they observed the hackers had altered files on testing and live servers, used a legitimate web server program to run malicious code, and deleted activity logs that could have exposed their movements. This activity was ruled a false positive. The report goes on to say, quote, between May 25th and June 3rd, the hackers used similar methods, aiming to leave scant trace of their activity, setting off more alerts that were again dismissed as benign. On June 4th, they installed hidden backdoors and stole credential data, typically employed to verify users' identities and grant access to accounts or systems, where personnel then declared the breach was active, unquote. The report concludes, it's not clear why the intrusion was deemed benign 2 times over such a wide time frame. So to go back to an overused trope in cyber, the Target breach had similar constructs. Alerts were firing, but either they were being dismissed or ignored, and everything old is new again. So if you've got tools that are giving you alerts that things are not going great on your systems, please do enough diligence to make an accurate call. You've done the hard work of procuring and deploying these tools, and yes, maybe they still need some tuning, and tuning is a kind of a constant challenge, but don't throw the baby out with the bathwater here. DHS did, and they paid the price. From a fundraising perspective, another good week with just shy of $15 billion in newly committed capital across more than a dozen funds. Meanwhile, in public markets, SpaceX is now down over 20% from their IPO, and the long-awaited, long-rumored IPOs of Anthropic and OpenAI both loom on the horizon. We will see how that works out probably towards the back half of this year. As a reminder, you can find all of the links that we talked about in the comment section below, back issues and written transcripts of these videos at intentionalcyber.com, and we will see you next week for another edition of the Intentional Brief.